The King has come. He has arrived. All the anticipation, the waiting, and he's come. The arrival is upon us. For the 4 previous Sundays leading up to today, we have been talking about the return of Jesus as we wait in darkness for his arrival. And just like the people of Israel at the time of Jesus, who were waiting for the Messiah to come, we too wait. And with Jesus' arrival the first time, we can see that hope, peace, joy, and love came. Hope, peace, joy, and love came. And all of these show us that there was something that was before that was anticipating what was to come. And so we have first from waiting to fulfilled hope. From waiting to fulfilled hope. Waiting can be really difficult. Some of you are like, how long are you going to talk? Don't worry, it's going to be short this morning. The kids want to get back home. But the people of God were waiting for his promise to arrive. And with the arrival of Jesus, fulfilled hope has occurred. Hope in the Bible is a settled reality. It is a sure thing. Hope does not disappoint. And in Luke chapter 2, verse 7, we see, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling cloths and laid him in the manger because there was no place for them in the inn. Hope arrived. We go from waiting to fulfilled hope. The personification of hope is Jesus. And like I said before, the people of Israel had been waiting for his arrival, and we too are in a place of waiting. We are waiting not for Jesus' first arrival, but his second. And since Jesus has told us that he is coming back, we can believe that he will fulfill our hope because he came the first time. His arrival the first time proves to us that what he says he will do, and he is coming again as he promised. And as we wait, we are waiting for all to be set right. For the fulfillment of hope has come, and the fulfillment of hope will come again. Lift your eyes up and see this faithful promise of hope. And then we go from fear to real peace. The passage in Luke also shows us that fear has been removed and has brought about real peace. Luke 2:9 says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared to the shepherds, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with great fear." The next verse, Luke 2:10 says, "And the angel said to them, 'Fear not.'" Imagine that. That's almost an impossibility when that happens. This must have been one of the most terrifying things to ever occur. An angel shows up out of nowhere in the night sky, and then thousands upon thousands arrive with that angel. That is a terrifying sight. And the angel says, "Fear not." But this isn't the only fear that the people are experiencing at that time. The people that were alive at that time were living in fear because of Rome. Rome instituted what was called the Pax Romana, the peace of Rome. But it caused that peace to occur through a heavy hand. You would only experience peace if you followed exactly what Rome told you to do. And if you did not, you should be very afraid. And all of that produced in the people fear, not peace. But there's another fear that the people experience that we too experience, and the fear that might rise up is, am I right with God? If an Israelite would read closely the Old Testament law, they would understand clearly that there is a problem, the problem of their own sin against a holy God. And then they would also see that there was a problem because they realized, if they read it carefully, that the blood of a goat or a bull or a ram would not fully satisfy God's wrath against them and their sin. They would understand that their sin separates themselves from a holy God. They would understand that they need another, a promised one who would take the punishment for their sin. But that one hadn't come. And so their fear would still be there. Am I right with God? Do my works do enough to make me right with him? And that might be the question for some of us here this morning. I know I have done wrong against a holy God. And so, we might think, have I done enough good to balance out my bad? And that's not the question. Because the question is, have I done enough good to match a holy God? And none of us have. And so the fear is, well, how can I be right with God? And that's what Christmas answers. Christmas answers that one has come for us in the person of Jesus. He has come to live the perfect life that we cannot live. He died a sacrificial death on the cross that we can't bear on our own, and he rose again 3 days later to give us hope. This is the good news. This is why we have Christmas, so that our fears might be relieved. The fear of, am I right with God? And the angels declare that Jesus' arrival brings peace. Peace has come. Glory to God in the highest, they proclaim. This is the worship of him. Why? And on earth, peace among those with whom he is pleased. God is to be praised because real peace has come. Real peace is possible because when we are trusting God completely, we are no longer at odds with him. And we have real peace. And then we see that we go from darkness to exuberant joy. Darkness to exuberant joy. Pastor John Piper has written a book called When the Darkness Will Not Lift, Doing What We Can While We Wait for God and Joy. Some of you will hear that title and you will think, I need to read that. It seems that the title just in itself seems to be something that would resonate with maybe where I am. And the good news is that you can go to a website called desiringgod.org and you can download that or read it for free on their website. It's available. And in that book, Piper says this, it is utterly crucial that in our darkness we affirm the wise, strong hand of God to hold us, even when we have no strength to hold him. I've mentioned this before, mental health is in decline, and it's a real thing. If you don't struggle with depression or anxiety or other mental illnesses, thank God for that. But for those of us who do, it seems that the darkness at times will not lift. The arrival of Jesus shouts to us that God is always present with us. And for those of us in Christ, he is always with us. Every day we are reminded all around us that darkness is real. And this time of the year, though today the sun is shining, there are plenty of other days where it is dark. I was up early one day and I was looking out around 7 o'clock and it was a cloudy day, but it was dark at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's still dark through much of the day. This can be very depressing. I cannot imagine what it might be like to live in northern Canada near the Arctic Circle where they hardly see the sun at all during this time of the year. Luke 2:8 says, and in the same region there were shepherds out in the field keeping watch over their flock by night. Darkness is what the shepherds are in, a physical darkness. If they had a fire glowing, that would provide some light, and maybe if the moon and the stars were out, there would be some light. But if they did not have the moon, if there was cloud coverage, if they did not have a fire going, it was pitch black. Something that an experience that many of us don't even know what that's like. That darkness. That's a physical darkness. But emotional darkness, physical darkness is not the worst darkness that we can experience. The worst darkness is a darkness of the soul. A darkness that is present because of the light of the gospel has not penetrated it. Luke 2:9 says, and the angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. From total darkness to brilliant light for them. When Saul, who was later known most frequently as Paul in the New Testament, is making his way to Damascus to persecute Christians while on horseback, Acts 9:3 says, now as he went on his way, he approached Damascus, and suddenly a light from heaven shone around him. Like the angels showing up and blinding the shepherds with the glory of the Lord showed up to Paul without one interest in this happening to him. The Lord shows up and brought him from darkness to light. Little did Paul know that in that moment, his soul went from utterly dark, even though he was religiously following the Lord, to a soul that was filled with exuberant joy. Do you have real joy? Exuberant joy? After the shepherds went and saw the light of the world, Acts 2:20 says, and the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all that they had heard and seen as it had been told them. They went from darkness to seeing light, and their response was exuberant joy. Might the Lord do the same for us. And lastly, from hatred to extravagant love. From hatred to extravagant love. Hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Caesar Augustus, the ruler at that time, hated. He's filled with hatred. He cared only for himself and his kingdom, and that is even communicated in the census. Hatred, not love, ruled the day, and we can't help but see hate all around us from day to day. Whether it's 8 young women in an area in Canada mob killing a man by stabbing him to death, or our own thoughts of just, I don't even want to see that person. Hate is strong in our world and even in our own selves. But this is not what we were created for. We were created not to hate, but to love. Love, real, lasting love, is only possible when given by the God who is love. And love in the person of Jesus has come. Jesus is God, and we will see that clearly in a few weeks in Colossians 1, verses 15 to 20. But Jesus has come in the flesh, and this proves that God's love for his creation, and it displays the steadfast love of the Lord, a phrase that shows up over and over in the Old Testament. This is extravagant love. This love has arrived, enabling us to do the same. Hope, peace, joy, and love came in the person of Jesus. And because he is coming again, our hope will be made sight. Our peace will be real forever, and our joy will be unending as we are loved extravagantly for all of eternity by the God who came so that we might experience all of these things in full. Church, Merry Christmas. It is good to be with you, to worship our King who has come and to worship our King who is coming.